First question actually is for Lauren. So Lauren, for all intents and purposes, you are a certified badass at this point. I'm, not going to shy away from that. You started off your Hollywood career as stunt woman, body double. You've got like multiple martial arts that you're proficient at, and like your breakout part was sword fighting a demon clown. And now in Twisted, you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting on the emotional scale too. Did you find that to be like a different challenge than what you're used to so far?
I became an actor because I did want to do more. Like, I wanted to be Jackie Chan. Like, this is not, I sound like a broken record. This is not anything new. And I just thought I still believe that he has like this incredible comedic timing and emotional weight. So that's really what I wanted to do. I think horror just keeps finding me. And I don't know why I feel like people feel that I'm the right choice to fight a demon clown. Like, that's crazy to me. Um, but I've been
I
trained.
get it. I mean, I truly understand why.
I guess it's just my face. Yeah, I don't know. I've been training as an actor since 2017, and this is when this was a gift because I really get to flex my muscles as an actor in a film like this, and I was so grateful that Darren felt that I could do this, and he had faith in me to do this, and I think that's why I tried so hard with this film because I felt that he believed in me, and that gave me the idea that shit, I should believe in myself. I did get to do a lot of physical stuff here as well, but I think the more emotional aspect of it all, the more human aspect of it all, was what really attracted me to this. I think if that wasn't there, I might not have been as inclined to want to do it. But I'm so happy it was, and it was my favorite part about filming.
Very nice.
I mean, so like this gets thrown around. The term like Scream Queen gets thrown around a lot in this era. I'm becoming not a fan of it. How do you feel about being considered in that subject or even that title?
I've heard and read a few pieces by Barbara Crampton about like what it means to be a scream queen, and she kind of opened my eyes to how kind of derivative it can be.
Hmm.
I've always just thought of a scream queen as a horror heroine. Not that necessarily she is defined by her scream, because really, I don't scream all that much.
No, you really don't.
I yell a lot when I'm angry, but I don't scream, and I can understand how it can feel like kind of a title that feels like a bit minimalistic, and it doesn't really exemplify all that women do in horror, and that's why
Hmm.
I love this genre so much, because I feel that it is a place where women and just people that might feel like other can really explore different aspects of humanity and it not feel like you're being hit over the head with it, whether it be commentary on just the human experience or something political. I think that you can really explore those themes in horror. So I'm honored to be a part of the genre, and I'm honored that people consider me a scream queen. But I think it's just because I have a different idea in my own heart of what it could mean. But I certainly understand why people might find it derivative.
Sure.
Nice. Darren, I had a question for you. Your filmography, I go back pretty far back as being a fan of yours. And when I was watching Twisted, watching Twisted brought me back to like a lot of the earlier stuff that you were doing. And with the earlier stuff, you were doing musicals, you're doing saw traps, you're doing like these intricate films. And with this one, it's like, it's contained to just a location or two, like, a few locations, and there's like a lot of mental traps, so to speak, going on. Uh, how did you approach this one differently than you would have approached like a lot of your previous films?
I think in the other work that I've done, it is one thing, whether that is Repo, which is set in this futuristic kind of gothic world, or Saw, which is set in this kind of gritty, subterranean place. With Twisted, we kind of went into this as it was three different things. It was a crime, it was like a heist whodunit crime thing, it was a thriller, and it was a Saw movie. And we hit each act differently. So if you look at the film, even the aspect ratio changes act by act. So as we're changing the style of filmmaking, we're also changing the way it's shot, from lenses to color palettes to the aspect ratio. And it's subtle, and maybe it's pretentious and douchey, but it's something that I really dug because I think the movie is three different things. And so we tried to kind of give each act its own visual flair.
Nice. I
I
have a
feel
side question to that,
sorry.
Ryan. Just real quick, Ryan. I have a side question to that. Was whose decision was it made? Was it your decision, or was it the writer's decision, or like the cinematographer's decision to do like what the best way for me to explain it is almost like a lock turning or a clock turn type of a visual thing that happens at certain times?
I'm sorry, you say that again. I heard the clock. What did you say before that, though?
Oh, I was saying whose idea was it to take like the certain visual
Yeah.
cues where you would have like the click and the turn and like the stuff like that, like almost not the
Well,
aspect ratio, but that
yeah.
visual turn.
Yeah, so I worked really closely with Bella Gonzalez, the cinematographer, and we wanted the movie to have its own visual language. And to me, I wanted it to be disorienting and disjointed as characters began to realize the bad decisions they were making. And we used this idea of the Dutch angle and the camera going off axis. And so we used, I mean, everything was done practically in the movie. We didn't really use a lot of visual effects for this. So we would just find those moments where a very bad decision was happening and the camera would go off axis. Also, Djimon has this, like him as a person had this tick, which I loved, where he would go and he would like
Hmm,
clock the top of his tongue, and it sounded like a clock ticking. And so we just mixed those two things together. And I thought it's just a cool kind of thing, and so we pushed it through the entire movie.
nice.
I mean, you might want to be careful with that though, because if you have seen Hereditary, somebody who clicks their tongue
Oh,
is
I
possessed
know.
by a demon.
Yeah,
So,
I
I mean, there might be,
know.
I would just say, to maybe watch out for that. I will say that writing to my, like, if, like, I'm a writer, so like I have two dream jobs of mine would be one to write a Final Destination kill scene, and then also to write a saw trap. So that had to be an incredibly fun process.
Yeah, it is. I mean, listen, I get to make my living playing make believe and thinking of crazy cool ways to torture and kill people. So,
Sure.
things could be a lot worse for me. I'm literally sitting here talking to you and I'm staring at like shit like this in my office. Hold on. Let me turn my camera back on. I mean, like I'm literally a big kid. Like I've got the brain from the movie just sitting on my desk right
Beautiful.
now. And like,
That's beautiful.
uh, my kids who are 6 and 8, I'm sure are gonna have trauma for the rest of their lives. You walk in my office, it's just body parts laying around, and it's great.
You
Literally
know,
our dream office is what
li
that is.
without lives with trauma, there'd be no punk rock or hip hop or anything like that. So you know what I mean? So you're
Exactly.
adding art to the world.
Lauren, I had a question for you on this one. This was an interesting thing to me when I was watching Twisted because on one hand of it, you got like this femme fatale thing going on where you're like scamming these dudes and you're doing the real estate scam and everything like that. But at the same time, you're also preying on these men that would also turn around and be predators, even in a lot of the scenes, like coming up to the end of it, like, baiting them with the dinner and stuff like that. Was there like a catharsis at all to playing that kind of a part where it's just like I'm gonna prey on you before you get to prey on me type of thing?
Absolutely. I love preying on men. It's what I do all the time. I love that question. I really do because I think what really connected me, a lot of things connected me to Paloma, but what I thought was so badass about her, I think that every character and every person in the world has a secret. And Paloma, I believe, also has secrets about her past. And I think there are things that have happened in her life to get her to this place, to question authority, to kind of be like, fuck the patriarchy. And I think she is that kind of person. So I fully believe that the men that she scams, she believes that she is justified in this. I don't think she would do it to a bad person. I think she akins herself to someone like Robin Hood. I think that she believes that these are probably terrible men. Like even the first guy played by the so sweet Michael Lombardi, he seems so sweet, but he is kind of forward. Like if you think about it, like he believes that he is entitled to this woman's body just because she is in tune with her sexuality. And that is just so interesting to me that even some of the more like good guys in movies can also kind of have a bad streak about them. And of course, that is not representative of every good guy in the world, but they do exist. And I love that she feels that she is justified in doing this kind of thing. And I think that it will be up to audiences to decide, which is what I love about these characters, because it is, they do live a lot in morally gray areas, whether or not she's a good person, because I don't think there is one defining quality about either her, Paloma, or Dr. Kezium that makes them good or bad.
Yeah. And I love that aspect of it too, because as soon as I saw it, especially like I said, the first guy, sure, he was a sweetheart, but as soon as he did like the whole like he gave that vibe of like, if I sign this deal, are we gonna fuck around tonight or like what's gonna go on? Like that type of thing. I was like, oh, get him. I was like, absolutely get him. I love it.
Mhm. You got it.
So, this is again, we don't have much time with you guys, and I want to talk to you guys very much about many, many things. But we have a segment that we do on our show, that I think you guys are both going to be awesome at, and it's called the Kill List. And basically, what it is it's 6 questions that are horror opinion questions. It lets the audience get to know you guys a little bit more as horror nerds, which I'm sure you are, just like we are. And we split up the questions for 3 each of you guys. If you guys are down to do that, have some fun with us.
Sure.
All right, Ryan, you want to go with the first one?
Lauren, would you rather fight Pinhead or Chucky?
Oh my God. Oh God, I'm terrified of dolls, dude. Like, and it's because of Chucky that did that to me. But at the same time, I don't want to be tortured in the way that Pinhead has in mind. I'm gonna say Chucky, even though I'm terrified of dolls. Like the idea, the thought, it literally makes me cringe of a knife getting my Achilles heel
Hmm.
is something that like makes me cringe to no end. But I think I have a better shot with Chucky, and maybe I can just kick him around a bit.
I
I
feel like
love
that's
it.
fair.
I
I
think
feel like
that's
it's
fair.
totally fair. Yeah.
I mean, the fear of me fighting something little always gets in my mind. For that Achilles tendon, it's just like somebody asked me once, what's the largest animal that I would, or the small, like the largest animal that I would feel comfortable fighting, and the answer was zero. Like, I don't want anything small. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want any like a raccoon, just terrifying, thinking about attacking you. And I kind of feel like Chucky sort of represents that, so I fully get it. But you know what I mean? But like, hell demons are different. But although you do have more experience fighting hell demons, I will say. But anyways,
That is true. That is
yes.
true. Darren, this next question is for you. If you had to choose one as a favorite or one that you would champion more, is it going to be Alien or Aliens?
Aliens.
With the
I
quickness.
Yeah, no, it is. I just rewatched the whole franchise, and I tried showing my son Alien, and while I respect it and I like it, it is very slow, and I think that's why it's so good. It's very Jaws in the way that, I think maybe you see the alien a total of like 50 seconds, 60 seconds, something like that. But it is in that respect, it's much more of a character piece than it is anything else. And I think when Aliens came in, it upped the tension, the dread, the horror, and being a fan of sequels, doing a bunch of sequels myself, I think that it's solidified itself into making it a franchise and not just being a one-off kind of thing. So I would say Aliens.
Hell yeah.
I'm
Aliens
an
is
alien.
also Ryan's an Aliens guy.
Yeah, I'm an aliens guy. So like, I mean, like, I love Alien. It's like, to me, it's kind of a perfect horror film. But Aliens is just so badass. You know what I mean?
It
Like, it's just a
is. It
badass
is.
film. And
Now, I'm
sometimes,
not a fan. Again, they did steer, in my opinion. I was not a huge fan of some of the later ones. Like, what was the one where they all had lice and had to shave their heads? The guy directed is Delicatessen. What the fuck's the guy's name?
So, okay, the lice one, which that's really funny because there's actually multiple ones I think that have lice in them. All of the Alien movies, Alien Resurrection is I think the one that most people are like blech about. Aside from Prometheus, Prometheus is whatever, but people usually shit on Resurrection, and Resurrection is the one that I think actually gets the like least amount of love, and it deserves a little bit more because it's kind of a badass movie. Even if it's not perfect, it's still
right.
kind of a fun movie.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren, if you could go back in time and cast yourself in a role anytime in history, what would it be?
Well, I can answer this one for
Be surprised, honestly. I know what Darren thinks I might say, and it's Sally Field's interpretation of Sybil, uh,
Hmm, beautiful.
which really inspired me to be an actor. But I'm going to say no to that because I loved her performance in that, and I don't want to be robbed of that.
Right.
And I do feel that way about a lot of the performances that I love. But if I could, but again, like she's so perfect that I don't want to take it from her. But if I could have the experience, I would love to play Lucy in I Love Lucy. But I'm obsessed with Lucille Ball. She's one of my biggest inspirations. But if they ever decide in the future, I know I don't really look like her. I would love to try to see. It doesn't need to be done. It doesn't need to be done. I feel skeevy saying it. I would love to try my hand or Rita Hayworth's Gilda.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Excellent choice.
All right, Darren, we got one more question for you, and then the last question is going to be for both of you. But Darren, if you could go back in time and remake any movie, what would it be?
um that okay. This is going to be a weird answer, and I've talked about this a lot over the past 10 years, but Flowers in the Attic.
Hmm.
It's a
Oh, fuck
movie.
yeah.
It's a movie that it's a book by V.C. Andrews that is a lot of times attributed to like young teens, something like that. But the book is horrific. It is it's a story of these kids that are locked in an attic and poisoned over the course of this long period of time by their own mother. And it is one of the most horrific, horrible depictions of like family gone awry. It deals with incest and murder. And every time they've tried to make it or remake it, it's been toned down from what the book was. When you read the book, it's just fucking terrifying.
I love it.
What's funny is that how popular that book is. I write splatterpunk and extreme horror, and like how popular that book is, like for like my parents' generation. Like everybody read that book. I grew up with a friend of my dad's having kids named Carrie and Corey, and so
Oh
like
yeah.
that book really established, like, but like if you read that book, like you're saying, it is extreme horror. It is incredibly uncomfortable, and I mean, it is one of the realest books out there. So that's one of my favorite answers of all time. So,
Awesome.
All right, and the last question for you guys, so we can get you guys out of here, is favorite kill of all time.
Oh,
Lau- Lauren.
hard. You guys coming in with the hard hitting questions. Oh my God, this is so incredibly hard, guys.
It can change every week.
yeah,
Mine does.
Thing. Listen, it's no surprise. I say this a lot. I'm a fan of Evil Dead. I love Evil Dead. And there's something about not so much the kills, but just the harm inflicted on every single person in Evil Dead. And the bathroom scene in Evil Dead really got me, where the nurse character is sawing at her mouth, and
Oh yeah.
when the guy, God, I think his name's Lou in real life, the actor who I'm actually a fan of. I saw him I rewatched Girls recently and forgot he was in Girls. He's so fantastic. He's the one that opens the Necronomicon and reads it in the 2013 version. Sorry, I did not specify.
Yes.
And where his needle is in the eye. Like, I have such a thing with eyes. My French teacher in high school used to say if I didn't do my homework, she'd paper cut my cornea. And
Oh my God.
ever since then, I've had a thing with eyes. So like, I don't think I have one answer, guys. I'm sorry. There's too many.
That's okay. Did it teach you to speak French? I mean, did that work? Because that doesn't sound like effective
The only
teaching to me.
thing I learned in French class was "Est-ce que je peux aller aux toilettes?" because I was trying to get out of French class, and it's yeah, the bathroom. And that's the only thing I remember because she scared the hell out of me. So I was like constantly trying to leave.
Sure. Sure.
All right, Darren, it's on you to close us out.
This is a hard one. And it does change weekly. When your movie I just rewatched that I remembered only the kill in it, and it lived up to the gruesomeness of it is a movie called Silent Partner. Elliot Gould and Christopher Plummer, and a guy's head is smashed into a fish tank, and then his head is sawed off of the broken fish tank from like the 70s. That one always stuck with me as being like mean-spirited and just horrible. Um, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer has some great kills in it. That was one of the first horror movies that I really saw that affected me greatly. Um,
It's a tough watch still.
Yeah.
it is. It
Yep.
is. Mist, when the final scene of Mist with the
Hmm.
bullets and the
Oh yeah.
family, yeah,
Oh,
that was just devastating to me.
yeah.
I think those are going to be those are my answers.
I love it.
Devastating,
You
also kind of funny. I mean, you know what I mean?
It
Like,
is. It
oh,
in a
is.
the
sense.
irony.
Oh, if it was only 5 seconds later.
Gosh,
Um,
I'm always
all
doing
right,
this.
you guys are fantastic. Thank you guys so much for coming on to another goddamn horror podcast. Everybody listening, check out Twisted. It's on video on demand. Check it out as soon as you possibly can. It rules. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Darren, and we hope to talk to you guys again.
You guys are great.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.